Right, let me take you on a little journey, which we started last summer. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and we have started looking around at secondary schools. And there are just so many choices. So I thought I would describe to you the various decision points that there are involved in the process these days. Essentially there are 3 of those really. There's, first of all, should she go to a single-sex school or a mixed school? Should we go for an independent school or a state school? And lastly, should they go for a grammar school or a comprehensive? Those are the 3 main ones. There are others, but let's keep life simple because this really is a minefield. And I just think to myself how complicated it has all become. Back when I was looking at secondary schools, admittedly, I went through a middle school first, so I was older than my daughter. And I got hold of the form before my parents did, and it only had 3 boxes on it. Now I gather it has 6. And I chose 2 mixed schools because I really wanted to go to a mixed school, and I picked on another local school, just anything to get away from the school that I knew my parents wanted me to go to, really. So I put down 3 schools, filled in all the boxes, and my mum took one look at it, put a line through it, said this child is a Roman Catholic, and I went to the convent school. It was the only time I ever really fell out with her. We didn't speak for about a month, but there you go. The thing was really with my daughters, we started off with her saying that she actually wanted to go to a single-sex school. You could have knocked me over with a wet haddock, you really could have, because I had no idea why she would want to do this. But at the end of the day, you know, if she wants to go to a single-sex school, she wants to go to a single-sex school. Well, you try finding one in Croydon, unless you are a Catholic, because the only single-sex schools for girls in Croydon, actually, you know, the state schools, that is, are for the Catholics. So you have Coloma, that's it, end of. There aren't any other choices, and we have next to no chance of getting in there. But you look at the relative advantages and drawbacks. The advantages of single sex are fairly clear for those who believe in it. The advantages really are there is a certain lack of distraction provided by the opposite sex, which is supposed to improve your chances of examination success. By and large, though, it tends to be combined with other things, which I'll move on to later, and it's very difficult to determine whether or not this is truly so. However, I think that there is an argument in favour of it. If you have a single-sex environment, there is less room for the sort of stereotypical choices at GCSE that you tend to get in mixed schools. So the boys tend to shy away from the arts, the girls tend to shy away from the sciences. It tends to happen, but it hasn't been conclusively proven. There's also the matter of the expectations that are laid upon them to excel. Now this is something that has been documented, but it's more for the girls than for the boys. At the girls' school, they will tend to expect the girls to do better because the whole reputation of the school is riding on it. Whereas at the mixed school, it is whatever the level of expectation is. They don't tend to make a big deal of it. It's not quite the overwhelming feature that it tends to be in a single-sex girls' school. The boys are expected to do well anyway, so they don't tend to really make a big deal of this. However, there is an argument that it's not a realistic situation, that you have to manage in a mixed environment when you go out into the world, and therefore perhaps you should be educated in it. That was my argument when I was choosing my secondary school, but there you are. Then we get into one of the other side issues. If you want to stay in Croydon and have a single-sex school, you have to look at the independent schools. So you're looking at independent versus state. Well, the obvious advantage of the state school is it's free. You know, free is good. That's my favourite price. I love that. But you look at what its relative merits are. The independent schools do tend to have better academic records. This is generally because they make you pass an exam before you get in, I would have argued, but they also do tend to pay a little better. There is an argument that they will achieve better teachers because they offer more money. That's possible. They also have smaller class sizes. That's going to improve their chances. Set against that, school isn't necessarily all about the academic results. and to mix with a wider raft of people, you know, from all walks of life, has a lot to be said for it. And in any case, there is a degree of elitism that goes on in the independent sector, which is liable to be overcome by the fact that there seem to be a number of government initiatives at university level who are trying to actually exclude a greater proportion of privately educated children. And I think to myself, those poor parents who have pauperised themselves, sending their children through private school, and now they're going to get kicked in the teeth over this. So I feel quite outraged for them. But I can understand the logic behind it in a way. Then lastly, we get into the matter of grammar schools versus comprehensive, because that's your other option. If you can't afford to do the fee-paying schools, and you want your child to go to a single-sex school, then the only other option is your nearest grammar school. Well, they're surrounded by grammar school areas, so Bromley's got grammar schools, Sutton's got grammar schools. You know, we could try those, but then you've got to pass an exam. And people are coaching their kids to get through this exam, which really rather defeats the objective, which was to get working class children into a really good academic standard. And you think to yourself, what is going on, and is it actually good to put children under so much pressure at this point? And I think that's highly debatable. But anyway, having got through all of this, we still haven't made our minds up. We've still got time to look round. It's just as well, because my kid doesn't really know what she wants either. Every school we go to, it's the one that she wants to go to. You know, whatever the last one was, that's her current favourite. It doesn't matter what it was. You know, I think I could take her to Borstal. She'd say the same, shouldn't she? But she wants whatever she wants. I'm happy to support, and we just have to find the one that fits her. And that's all I can say to you.